Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Wassalatu wassalam Rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, and the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messengers. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the features. I greet you all in peace and love and no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And family, tonight's live is kind of like an important one. Most lives here are important anyways. But tonight's live is thoroughly important because we are going to be highlighting the escalation in right-leaning political leanings from amongst your Muslim brass. Those who are out here feigning brotherhood while accepting white supremacy and hiding behind the dawah monikers. Family, those of us who are here in the West from the transatlantic slave trade, we did not receive any support from any other people group. This is well known. Okay, nobody came behind us, and the entire system of white supremacy itself is made in order to ensure the supremacy of the dominant class over the classes that are dominated. And Malcolm X, he famously said that Islam, if the white man would accept Islam, it would rectify their situation. But what we have found out in 2023 is that Islam clearly didn't rectify the racism out of either the South Asians, the Arabs, and now the open white supremacist element from the alt-right, where white supremacists are given the green light to become Muslim without denouncing white supremacy. And rather the opposite is true, where white supremacy is promoted from your Muslim media moguls under the guise of fighting liberalism and woke propaganda. So this is what's going on right now. So what we have in our time is your YouTubian da'i elites forming alliances with alt-righters, and we're talking about some of the most rabid alt-righters, just absolutely rabid. And they want to hide behind the guys are saying, oh, we're just making dawah. We're just out here making dawah. That's all we're doing. We're just making dawah. So we're going to watch a few videos and we're going to go in tonight. If you are reading the banner, public service announcement, if you're reading the banner, YouTube has demonetized the features. You know very well, my day ones know very well that YouTube does all kind of craziness to us, at least twice a year minimum. And they've done it again. And I'm kind of tired of YouTube at this point. We didn't start the Black Muslim media to get monetized by YouTube anyways. That's not why we started it. We started it because there is a massive gap in the voices of Black Muslims who are at the behest of these rabid, racist, who are pretending to be our brothers. And they have no issue, these so-called brothers of ours, sabotaging this channel. They have no problems doing it. So YouTube now has demonetized our channel. And it's up to you now, the Black Muslim grassroots, to get the word out. Because once the channel is demonetized, YouTube will not push the channel because they can't make money off of it. We keep telling y'all that YouTube is a business. And we came out here because we didn't come here for the business aspect. We came here to get the message out. And YouTube, they pick their winners and they pick their losers. Which is why Muslims are incentivized to push red pill and alt-right and whatnot, because this is what the algorithm pushes. So whatever the algorithm pushes, that's their religion. If the algorithm says, you know, modern woman, the Muslims will say modern woman. If the algorithm says woke agenda, the Muslims will say woke agenda. Have you ever heard the features use the keywords and the talking points of either left or right? We don't do that here. We don't twitch and twirl for the enemy here. Like it or hate it who hate it, but that's not what we do. And so, because the Muslims now, your Muslim YouTubian da'i elites, and your social media savvy Sambos, because they only follow the algorithms. Whatever the algorithm says their religion is, that's going to be their religion. So it's no problem for them to push in front of you Jordan Peterson, and it's no problem for you for them to push the top G in front of you, and it's no problem for them to push a Sneeko in front of you. No issues. No problems at all. They can do all of this because that's their religion. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, and it's reported by Abu Sayyid al-Khudri, and this hadith is in Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ, very famous hadith, he said, you would tread the same path as was trodden by those before you, inch by inch and step by step. So much so that if they had entered the hole of a lizard, you would follow them. You would follow them. Is this not what's happening right now on social media? Where are the Muslim mouthpieces that have an original thought or original idea? They don't have anything original. They just follow in the Christians. They follow in the Jews. They follow in Jordan Peterson. They follow in Jake Shields. Now, they follow in Jesse Lee Peterson and whatnot. And we're going to show all of this. They don't lead, they follow. And then they turn around and say, well, would you like to become Muslim? Would you like to become Muslim? Even if they enter the hole of lizard, you will follow them in this also. We said, the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, do you mean the Jews and the Christians? By your words? By your words, those before you? He said, yes. Who else? Who else would it be if it's not the Jews and the Christians? This is what's happening right now. Whenever you want more of something, You monetize it. You give it economic incentives. And so, your Youtubian da'i elites have economic incentives to call to alt-right talking points. So we're going to watch some stuff right now. Like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. And as you can see, again, we are not getting monetized by YouTube. So it's up to the black grassroots to support the channel. No more super chats. We don't get that no more, right? We don't get that no more. And bare minimum, pardon me, bare minimum is to share the link. Share the link, because YouTube will not share the link. So let's get to it, shall we? Let me just get my thing up here. 1 second, y'all. Let's get to the first exhibit, shall we? 1 second, y'all. Are we going to work tonight, by the way? We are going to work. 1 second. Going over here. Oh, this is so crazy, man. Anyways, y'all gonna see for yourself. This is too crazy, man. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Oh my goodness. I hope y'all buckling your seatbelts, because we going for a ride tonight, man. Buckle your seatbelts. Y'all ain't ready for this. And make sure you share. Ready? Let's go, baby. Let me just speed this up a little bit. Just a little bit. Here we go.
The Quran, which I know less well.
In a tweet, he tweeted, "I hate that every awesome thing comes to an end.
I say this word because I can't find a better descriptive word, but Muslims will not accept this.
You will live forever, or you can have anything you want." Elon Musk.
Now, Jews will say, and I being a Jew will say this, that that's because Muhammad heard those stories from Jews.
Lex Friedman, hold on to this, and anyone else listening. This is historically documented. The Prophet Muhammad, last final messenger sent to mankind, he couldn't read or write. We invite you, Lex, Rabbi, and everybody else, and this is throwing some love your way.
Elon Musk. Something created the universe, or the universe is, here. How did it come to be?
Elon Musk too.
You want to get to Mars, man? We'll get you past Mars. We'll get to Jannah.
Now looky here. The title of this video, again, one of your usual suspects. One of your usual suspects, Eddie from the Dean Show. Message to Lex Friedman and Elon Musk. Now, I don't know much about Lex Friedman. All I know is that he does have a large alt-right audience, but I don't know if he's alt-right. I don't think he is. Elon Musk is a pure alt-righter. He is pure alt-righter. And mind you, we got Sheikh Uthman bin Farouk on this stuff again. Sheikh Uthman Farouk again. For those of y'all who don't remember, I think it was last year sometime. Do you remember a certain alt-righter that got invited to a certain conference that Sheikh Uthman was warned about? Do you remember? Who remembers that? Put in the chat, please. Who remembers that? Who remembers a certain alt-righter that was his picture was put on top of not one and not two, but 3 black scholars to show that he wasn't a racist? Like he was going to fool us. Like he was going to trick us somehow. Y'all remember that? So here come Eddie from the Dean Show again, pushing alt-righters in front of the Muslims again. And if you thought that you were going to get some pushback from Sheikh Uthman Farouk, let me remind you of how Sheikh Uthman Farouk distributes pushback. Should I remind you? Should I remind you how he distributes pushback? Who remembers this? Y'all gonna get some work today, man. Y'all gonna get this work today. Y'all remember this? I personally warned Sheikh Uthman Farouk about Daniel Hagikachi. And who knows, Allah knows who else warned him, but I know I sent him some undeniable receipts, which even he didn't deny. He could not walk back from the receipts I sent him about Daniel Hagikachi. And then Sheikh Uthman Farouk, he said this. Let me remind y'all, I'm just reminding y'all.
So I think he made it very clear. I just want to make it explicit for everybody else watching, because I got a lot of messages, and our team got a lot of messages, and I'm sure you did as well, Sheikh Kareem, claiming that our brother Daniel was not on the Athari Aqidah, that he was on a different manhaj, a different Aqidah. And again, as people who should not indulge in su'adhan, in bad thinking about people, who should not take people's words out of context, sarihatan, to be very explicit, I had never met Daniel before, even though obviously I knew about him. I'd heard about his da'wah and some of the things he had mentioned. And the first time meeting him was at AIM. Alhamdulillah, I found him to be a very good brother, mashallah. I found him to be somebody who I found to be very humble, and also to be open to advice. And to be very, very explicit and honest, I get a lot of these clips people send me to try to defame the brother. I haven't even watched them.
Did y'all hear that? He did not even watch the clips, which of course is a lie, because I know he watched mine. I know for a fact he watched mine. But he didn't care. He didn't care because when Zaddy comes to boost your channel, you sat down and shut up. He said that I don't know the brother. I never met the brother. But, the people that was warning me about him, I didn't listen to them. Why I gotta listen to them? I'm going to listen to the person I don't know. Well, how did that work out for you, Sheikh Uthman? Didn't work out too fine now, did it? And this weirdo, Kareem Abu Zayd, remember the shahada that he gave Daniel? And I bear witness. I bear witness that I will not make a takfir on the leaders. Y'all remember that? These are the people that are going to lead you into Salafiyah for the next how many years now? Running behind Zaddy, who don't know squat about Islam. Defending people that they don't know, admitted they don't know him. I don't know Daniel, and guess what? I ain't listened to all the people that I do know warning me about him either. Because we got money, we got dawah to make. These are the people that are going to give you pushback. These people. And the leaders, I bear witness that the leaders, I will not make a takfir. These folks. But look at here. Look who is speaking in Toronto. This weekend, premier speakers, Sheikh Uthman bin Farouk, Sheikh Ibrahim Zidan, Sheikh Abu Weirdo, Kareem Abu Zayd, and Eddie Rizvij. See, here's the thing. Does lightning strike the same place twice, family? Does lightning ever strike the same place twice? No, it doesn't, right? So when you see lightning striking the same place twice, is it a coincidence or is it a pattern? Bilal, what you saying? What you saying? That's Eddie Rizovich is an alt-righty. Damn right I'm saying that. Hello? Yes, he's alt-righter. Of course he's alt-righter. Just like Daniel Kikich before him, AIM conference, home of the alt-right and red pill dawa. Why don't you say something about the Yaqeen Institute? I'm about to say something about the Yaqeen Institute in a minute, okay? But let me get to work here. Let me get to work. Let me do my thing. Is anything I'm saying false so far? Repeat after me, Daniela. That was the single most shameful thing I've ever seen in Dawah. That. The Salafi Shahada. Embarrassing. You shouldn't have invited a dude to begin with. You were warned, and you gave him the most outrageous tazkiyat. Outrageous. And you think that you have something called credibility with us? You must be tripping. Those days of gullibility and naivete are long, long, long gone. I don't know what kind of crack you got in your pipe. Must be the good stuff. But we don't play that no more. We do not play that no more. So let's go back to Eddie. This is the Dean of the Dean Show. This is the Dean Show. Share, people. We ain't getting monetized, so share. You know, I gotta say this, man. I have to say this, bros. All right, like this ain't making no sense to me. Okay, like, how are you always in the front lines of this make-believe fight between you and the LGBTs, but you have the gayest music on YouTube? What the hell is that, man? You are the vanguard between us and the LGBTs. You're just copying alt-right and stuff, but you come up with this all this gay music and stuff, calling it nasheeds and stuff. Who likes that crap anyway? Y'all, anyways, I'm just talking. Pansies land, pansy land. Y'all are tripping, man. Anyways. And his final messengers, Muhammad, peace be upon him. This is our religion, Islam. This is the Deen Show.
I love you very much. I love all the work that you're doing.
When I was ready to talk about it, I would only talk to you.
I was explaining how much respect I have for the faith of Islam.
Welcome to the Deen Show.
Welcome to the Deen Show. Oh, it hurts. My booty hole hurts. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it's bleeding. Hurts. Give me a friggin' break, man. These people. I remember when I was living in Saudi. I know I'm going off in tangents, but we going to work tonight, man. Like it or like it, hate it, right? When I was living in Saudi back in the day, the Dean show would come on, right? I would try to watch it and I couldn't. Because Eddie has got to be the single worst interview I ever seen in my entire life. And this is the Deans. And I even back in there, I was like, what is up with this gay music? And he followed up gay music with gayer music. But talking about gay people. No, Bilal is not tripping. Like, what's you doing with, I'm not tripping. You who invite alt-right people to your show to fight LGBTQs and stuff, but have nothing to say about their blatant racism. As a matter of fact, you make sure to invite the most outrageous racist on your show. When I was in Saudi, I never once seen Eddie from the D Show invite a single non-Muslim to his channel. Not one. But now he makes sure to make it a point to put the most rabid alt-righters on a show. You know, we want to invite you to Islam. Give me a break, man. First, learn how to do an interview first. Second of all, you know, fix your production. Your music production. And third of all, stop making alliances with racists, pretending that you're making dawah. You ain't fooling nobody. Sorry, y'all. I know I ranted a little bit, but let's just get back to the nitty-gritty, shall we? Let's get back to the nitty-gritty. That music drives me insane.
The Dean Show.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum, greetings and peace. Special guest Sheikh Uthman ibn Farouk, how you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Doing excellent. Good to be here, Eddie, once again with you.
Good to have you on the program. Have you heard of Lex Friedman?
Lex Friedman.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Lex.
All right. Have you heard of Joe Rogan?
I have, yeah. He's that UFC guy. He used to be an announcer or something.
Yeah.
He's got
So
a
Lex
podcast.
Friedman, he's a...
Can you skip this, please?
How you doing, brother?
Is there any way to skip this? Come on, man.
All right, so as you can see, we're getting to work, and we need your support. So go ahead and help us to get this where it's top notch.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. The Dean Center, thank you.
Russian-American computer scientist, podcaster, and an artificial intelligence researcher. And he also has good relations with a lot of the different other well-known podcasters out there, such as Joe Rogan is a good friend of his. And
See, so here it is. He has good relations with other podcasters. Here we go. Y'all ready? Let's watch now. Let's watch what happens. You guys ain't ready for this. You guys ain't ready for this. Make sure y'all share this.
recently, he also had an imam. He opened up his channel to have the imam on his program, and that was I thought that was a nice thing on his end.
So he just said he recently had an imam on his program. Eddie from the Dean Show with Sheikh Uthman Farouk is mentioning that, you know, he recently had an imam on his program. Y'all ain't ready. Just trust me on this one. You are not ready. Okay? Hang on to your horses.
So I wanted to kind of return to him the love, you know, an invitation also for him to hopefully get him on the program. He had someone, a rabbi, on his program, so I got to see this. And this is a common misconception, and you're an expert in this area of misconceptions. You know, inviting people. You're somebody who studied Islam for a long time. You have a master's degree in hadeeth, is this correct? And other sciences of Islam. So I thought you'd be the perfect fit to go ahead and to address this issue. So we'll get right.
All right, you know, let me just kind of speed through here, right? And let's talk about this imam that he had on his program. Right? If you look at the beginning, this is what he showed at the beginning, okay? Now we're about almost 4 minutes in. But this is what he showed in the beginning before all the gay music. That's what he showed, correct? This is what he showed in the beginning. This is the imam that he had on his show. That guy. He also had an imam on his show, correct? Do you know who the imam is? See, even Muhammad Fawzi is like, who is that guy? Y'all ain't ready. You are not ready, man. You are not ready, man. All we do is receipts here on the features anyways, man. This is so crazy. These people playing games. These people playing pure games. Who's the imam, y'all are asking? You ready? You ain't ready. Them not ready. When were they ready? Nah, they're not ready. Who's that imam? Does anybody recognize this imam that he had on his show? Who knows this well-dressed fella here? Was that Muhammad Fawzi? Is that Umar Suleiman? They can't even mention his name. They can't mention his name. You are talking about people who invite Jordan Peterson to their platforms. They invite the top G while he's in the porn industry in his platform and on their platforms. They invite Sneeko to their platforms. They even invite Jesse Lee Peterson to their platforms. They talking about Elon Musk. They even talking about this fella Friedman. But they cannot say the name Omar Suleiman. They can't say it. They can't say it. Even inviting Daniel Hakikachu and saying, we ain't listening to y'all about Daniel Hakikachu. But you better listen to us about Omar Suleiman. Can you imagine that? The person who shall not be named. Umar Suleiman. Of Yaqeen Institute. They couldn't say that. And you know what else they can't say? They can't say that we out here alt-writing it up. They can't say that either. I told y'all we're going to talk about Yaqeen Institute, didn't I? Well, there it is. What kind of wala wa bara is this? This is wala wa bara? This is wala wa bara? You know, let's not mention his name now. We can't, no. He's a liberal. Let's just quietly retreat. You know that Simpsons episode where Homer Simpson He's retreating into the bushes until he disappears. Let's quietly retreat into the bushes until we disappear about Daniel Hagikachu. And let's not mention Omar Suleiman's name. But we're going to mention the alt-righters' name. We're going to mention their names, and we're going to invite them on our channels and stuff. Can you imagine? This is Wala wa Bara? This is Wala wa Bara? And Umar Suleiman, he made good dawah to this Friedman fella, right? Like I said, I don't know who Friedman is. I just know a lot of alt-righters, they like him, but I don't know who he is. But this is what they're doing out here now. Can you believe this stuff? So instead of saying, Sheikh Umar Suleiman did, a thing with them, they can't say it. They can't say it. But they can tell the Muslims, we ain't listened to you about Daniel Hagikachu. They can say that. They're not shy to say that. They're not shy to say our brother Daniel Hagikachu. And look how that turned out for them. Because aim for the alt-right is just the other end of the mirror of Yaqeen Institute. That's it. Yaqeen left, aim right. That's it. Y'all see how the hustle work now? But we're not done. This is just the warm-up, by the way. We just warming up. We are just getting started. Can you imagine if you dare to say the name Umar Suleiman?
Emotional damage.
That's what it is. You better not say it. Don't say his name. Let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going because this is so trippy. I mean, like when I saw that, man, I was like, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys cannot be serious. And that's not even the big stuff. We haven't got to the big stuff yet. That is light work. Let me remove this now. Let's get to the next. Next item, shall we? Let's move on here. Let's move on from here because we're building up something here, okay? Remember what I told y'all. If y'all are reading the banner, we are no longer monetized by YouTube. YouTube kicked out their monetization program. We ain't tripping. We never came. We never started the Black Muslim grassroots for YouTube's money anyways. And that's why we never, ever ride the algorithm and say, we out here trying to reach out to our people and be the voice of a people without a voice. That's what we out here doing. So those of you who are supporting, make sure you send your donations to the Cash App on Wealth Simple, or you can send your donations to PayPal, or you can send them to Patreon. Because YouTube kicked us out their their whatchamacallit, their partner program. We ain't tripping about that. We are small. We've always been small. We've always been fighting an uphill battle. We've always been attacked left, right, and center. Firstly, by Muslims first. They were the ones that got our channel shut down twice. Okay? Okay? We ain't tripping about that. YouTube picks its winners and they pick their losers. And because we are talking to the issues of the despised, those people who everybody loves to hate, it's no surprise that YouTube is the same way. Why would that be surprising? Anyways, let's just continue, y'all. Let's continue, shall we? We're over here. 1 second, y'all. Let me just find the thing. Here we go. This is the Dean Show. Y'all ready? Who is this guy over here? Y'all know who this is? If y'all don't know who this is, you're going to learn today. You're going to learn that this is the smoking gun of Eddie from the Dean Show, his alt-right tendencies. This right here, this Negro right here. Jesse Lee Peterson. If you don't know who he is, you're about to find out today. And that's how we know that Eddie from the Dean Show has an alt-right agenda. And it's not his switch from inviting people to Islam to inviting the Muslims to being alt-right. It's clearly switched. Let's watch what Eddie from the Dean Show has to say to Mr. Jesse Lee Peterson, shall we? Let's watch it.
With you.
All this well. Thanks for asking.
It's thanks for being on the program, the Dean
Yes,
Show.
sir.
So let's start off.
I enjoy having you on my show, by the way. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think we should do this more often. I think, you know, my vision is real. I really believe that we need to be building bridges. When you hear me say that, I mean, what's your response to that?
Well, when I hear you say we need to be building bridges and crossing over, I don't know what you mean by that. So I have no thought about it. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. What I mean by that is that I believe we have so many things in common. And it's a shame, like a lot of times.
Y'all hearing Eddie from the Dean Show? This is what he's saying to Mr. Jesse Lee Peterson. First, that we need to build some bridges. We need to build some bridges. And that we have a lot in common. Those of you who don't know who Jesse Lee Peterson is, you're going to learn today. You're going to learn. It is not possible that Eddie from the Dean Show doesn't know who he's talking to when he's talking to Jesse Lee Peterson. It is impossible for him to be ignorant of who Jesse Lee Peterson is. Lino, let me just bring that back. Let me rewind that back because I want to make sure that I'm not tripping here. Listen what he said.
Enjoy having you on my show, by the way. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think we should do this more often. I think, you know, my vision is real. I really believe that we need to be building bridges. How would your, when you hear me say that, I mean, what's your response to that?
Well, when I hear you say we need to be building bridges and crossing over, I don't know what you mean by that. So I have no thought about it. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. What I mean by that is that I believe we have so many things in common. And it's a shame, like a lot of times when
we have so many things in common. He's got a lot in common with Jesse Lee Peterson. Look here.
I'll sit with a Christian or, you know, somebody who's of the Christian faith, and we'll talk about different values. We'll talk about different things that we haven't, that points of view. And I'll say, wow, we have so many things in common.
So we want to talk to a Christian with Christian values, and we have so many things in common. Well, let's see some of these things, these Christian values that the Dean Show has in common with Jesse Lee Peterson. So, shall we see? Who wants to see? Who wants to see? Y'all ain't ready for this. Look at here.
You ready for this? It's a doozy.
I'm ready.
It's 2018 in America. Does racism exist?
Absolutely not. And it has never existed.
Whoa!
Do I need to repeat that? Do I need to repeat that? These are the people that Eddie from the Dean Show says we got a lot in common with. But wait, there's more. Just keep watching, yo.
It has never. It's
Whoa!
It's a made-up word.
What about the picture in the 60s with the German Shepherds on the black guy, the civil rights movement, and the cops, and the guy like that?
Well, that's because you were having protests. Whenever you could have a protest today, and if people go out of control, you're going to see the same thing. It was just
So our forefathers and our foremothers who getting their breasts tore up by police dogs and hoses. I mean, just show me the equivalent to this happening to white people. Where are white women getting their breasts tore off and black men in protest getting their private parts tore off by dogs in a protest in history? These are the values that we share, Mr. Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. But wait, there's more. We ain't done.
just a protest. And you're hearing this from a man. I grew up in Alabama. I grew up under the Jim Crow laws. I went to an all-black school. There were signs that says for colors only, for whites only.
That sounds pretty racist.
Yeah. But it wasn't racist. It was a law that...
That's not racist, he says. But Eddie from the Dean Show thinks we got a lot in common with this individual. But wait, there's more. We're not done.
That was brought about by the Democrats. And they brought that law into effect, and it separated people by law. But yet, most blacks and whites got along. They knew that all white people were not against black people. It was a law, and people just obeyed the law at the time.
Over 3,000 people, between 3,000 to 5,000 people lynched in the Jim Crow era only. These are just the men lynched only because we got along so well with white folks. And it's the Democrats' fault because, you know, these good white folks, they wanted to unite with us so badly. They didn't want no segregation. They wanted so badly to live with the Negroes. And that's why we got a lot in common with Jesse Lee Peterson. But wait, there's more. You see, that person that was interviewing Jesse Lee Peterson was a Mr. Gavin McInnes. Do y'all know who Gavin McInnes is? Y'all know who Gavin McInnes is? Well, if you don't know who Gavin McInnes is, why don't we just wiki Mr. Gavin McInnes, shall we? Let's wiki him up. Gavin McInnes, born 17 July 1970, is a Canadian writer, podcaster, far-right commentator, and, drum roll please, founder of the Proud Boys. Founder of the Proud Boys, Gavin McInnes. Far-right commentator, Gavin McInnes. Do you know somebody else who's becoming a far-right commentator? I'll give you a hint. Dean Show. Dean Show. I can't do my gay voice real good. You know what I mean? I tried my best. Okay, that's the best I can do. That's as zesty as I can get. That's who else is trying to become a far-right commentator. And he knows very well he can't come out and say that he's far-right. So what does he do? He invites all the alt-right brass who have anything nice to say about Islam to his channel. And then he talks about, well, we would like to call you to Islam. Remember what he said about, what's his face? That Jewish guy again, I can't remember. Remember what he said about him? We like to invite you to Islam. Him and Elon Musk want to invite you to Islam. Y'all remember that? And we are still, we're not even hitting the good stuff yet. We're just beginning. Shall we go back to Jesse Lee Peterson again? Let's go back to Jesse Lee Peterson, okay? Let's go back, y'all. I hope y'all are sharing. We are going to work tonight. Please read the banners. As you can see, we are no longer monetized. We're no longer monetized. YouTube don't want us to be monetized no more. So you, the people, have to support the channel. So let's get busy. 1 second, y'all. This is too crazy. This is what your YouTubian elites are doing now. This is what they into now. And nobody brave enough to say it. 1 second, y'all. Y'all ready? Let's watch this, y'all. Ready? Look here.
How did you become so superior? They want to destroy. Now I realize that word.
On the other side.
I used to think that when they used that word white supremacy, it was a negative word. But now I realize what they're thinking is that, and it's true, by the way, that white men are smarter than them, superior to them, and instead of learning.
These are the values that we share. These are the Christian values that we share with Muslims. That white men are superior to black men because they're smarter than us. That's what's meant by white superiority. Nobody invites Jesse Lee Peterson to their show unless they are like this. The only other reason you would invite him to your show is try to put the brakes on him, correct? And black people, we see him like, Uncle Ruckus. He is the world's proudest coon. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's on a grift. It is impossible for you as a self-respecting Muslim to watch something like this and not know that he's a grifter, unless you are okay with the grift, which Eddie from the Dean Show has expressed that he is okay with the grift. And so we, the Muslims, and you, the Christians, you can't hide behind him being a pastor. You can't hide behind that. You name one Christian monologue that you heard from Jesse Lee Peterson that made you think, you know what, we got a lot in common from Jesse Lee Peterson. Let me reach out to him as a Christian and invite him to my show as a Christian and, see if we can reach some common ground. Just find one, Eddie, from the Dean Show. But what you are saying is that, yes, I do believe that us white folk are superior to you black folk, Eddie. That is what you're saying. Those are the values that you agree with. Because those are the only values that you would mention with Jesse Lee Peterson in the same sentence with. This is what he is known for. He is not known for being a pastor. Jimmy Swaggart is known for being a pastor. This is not a pastor. Where is his church, Eddie, from the Dean Show? Find me one sermon from him in his church, Eddie, from the Dean Show. Where is his congregation? Somebody send this to Eddie, please. And Sheikh Uthman Farouk. And Kareem Abu Zaid. Somebody send it to them, please. But don't stop there. Let's keep watching, y'all.
Hey, how did you become so superior? They want to destroy it so that they won't be reminded how dumb they are. And so they're dumbing everybody and everything down rather than coming up to the level of white supremacy.
Did y'all hear that? They're dumbing everybody down instead of coming up to the level of white supremacy. But listen to what this liberal had to say about Jesse Lee Peterson. Let's listen to what this liberal had to say. They don't want you to hear no liberals, right? We have to fight the liberal agenda. Let's listen to this liberal.
What? Not credible. Not a credible individual. Stupid, I would say.
I would say that too.
Really a cognitive deficit here with Jesse Lee Peterson. That it saying with his own flapping lips that white men, by the way, not women, white men are indeed smarter and superior to black people. This is dangerous. White supremacist nonsense. Not surprising, though, coming from someone who called Nelson Mandela evil and that South Africa was better under apartheid. Jesse Lee Peterson has said that. Jesse Lee Peterson disagrees, thinks that it's wrong to have Muslims in elected office in the United States.
Did y'all hear that? Eddie from the Dean Show? Let's say, for example, oh, Bilal, you just race baiting, Bilal, whatever, you race baiting. This is what these bones and biscuits like to hide behind. They want to hide behind the moniker of race baiting so that they can be racist. These bones and biscuits, these white supremacist Muslims. But how do you come out of this one that Jesse Lee Peterson don't want Muslims anywhere in Congress? How do you get around that? Eddie from the Dean Show, all these values that you're sharing with Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse Lee Peterson, who just said that racism doesn't exist and it has never existed, but at the same time affirms white supremacy. How do you affirm white supremacy but deny racism? That's like saying, I believe in Islam, but I don't believe in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. You cannot have one without the other. Without white supremacy, there is no racism. There's no racism without white supremacy. It's the same thing. Racism is a system. White supremacy is a system. But that doesn't matter to these alt-righters, because as long as they have a Negro to blow the trumpets of white supremacy, they're good. And so their values will align. So now let's get into the meat, shall we? I think we thoroughly established that Eddie from the Dean Show is an alt-righter. He has no issues vying for actual racists and coons and shines and sambos, and even going so much to the point to say that, yeah, our values align. Shamelessly saying that. Shamelessly saying that. Eddie from the Dean Show, who built his black platform off the backs of black imams, is now coming home to where the chickens roost. He's returned back home. Just call it what it is today. It's very clear that Islam didn't rectify the racism out of these folks. Very, very clear. You see, this is the thing, right? This is where y'all are mistaken. Y'all are from the dominant class, Eddie. And as a white skin bearing member of the dominant class, you enjoy certain freedoms that we, the black skin members of the dominated class, do not have. But what it is that makes people enjoy freedom? Some people enjoy freedoms and some people don't have these freedoms. What is it? It is that one group must conspire, must collaborate, must cooperate against the other group, correct? This requires plotting and planning. And so Allah says in the Quran, they plot and plan, and Allah plots and plans, and Allah is khairul makirin. While y'all was plotting and planning to uphold the system of white supremacy, Allah is also plotting and planning. And just like Pharaoh and his people had an iddah, they had an allotted time, and just like Ad and Thamud, they thought they were superior to the whole people of the earth, and they had an allotted time. This system also has an allotted time. And this system is coming to an end. And when it comes to an end, you need to ask yourself this question. Did you even have the right to align yourselves with people who have the longest history of usurping the rights of other people to begin with, and call it Islam and call it Dawah? No human being has a right to take the rights of other human beings. Not a single one. Every right that we get as human beings, it comes directly from Allah. And the ones who rip those rights away from the people, those are what we call the oppressors, the dhalimun. And Allah doesn't love the dhalimun. So you can align yourself with racists all you want. But there's a new day coming. And let's be very clear. You are praying for your success, while we, the oppressed class, are praying for your annihilation. So we don't worship the same God. Our God, Allah, his attribute is not the one of oppression. His attribute is the one of justice. He is al-adl, the most just. And when you are trying to absolve the oppressor of any wrongdoing, while gaslighting the oppressed for even trying to bring up the discussion of our oppression to begin with, know that there's no barrier between the dua of the oppressed and his Lord. You may think that you've gotten away with something, just like Pharaoh thought he got away with something, and just like Ad and Thamud thought they got away with something, and just like the people of Noah thought they got away with something, and just like the Qawm of Lut thought they got away with something. You may think you're getting away with something, but your time is coming. Allah says in the Quran, Wal Asr, by the time. Allah swears by the time. Innal insana lafi khusr. Very mankind is in loss. Who's in loss? You white supremacist? You people who think that you have gotten a group to lead the world into the next millennia? All of y'all are in loss. All of y'all. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَصَّوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَصَّوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Except for those who آمَنُوا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Except for those who believe, who have faith, and they do the righteous deeds. What is the faith, Eddie from the Dean Show? It's faith in Allah, right? You put your faith in a devilish system. So much so that you aligned yourself with the right side of this devilish system and made the left side of the devilish system the enemies. But the dawah is for Allah, and it's to everybody. but you are even willing to align yourself to non-Muslims to fight another group of non-Muslims for political expediency and massaging the algorithms of your channel. And to hell with black folk, to hell what they think, to hell what they feel. We're gonna keep this white supremacy thing going. So for y'all, YouTubian that elites, you are impressed with the most debaucherous personalities, whom not even 10 years ago, Eddie, you would have even dreamed of inviting to your channel. You wouldn't even thought about that, because you didn't do it 10 years ago. You wasn't inviting no alt-righters to your channel, or no white supremacists to your channel 10 years ago. You weren't doing that. That's what you're impressed with. But we, those of us who have been downtrodden, we are impressed with the attributes of Allah. And Allah, from his attributes, is he's the most just. And we demand justice, not from you, but from our Lord. Not from the dominant society. We don't want nothing to do with y'all. Y'all have proved yourself who you are. And your beards and thobes are not fooling us anymore. You are like those people that the Prophet ﷺ said, they are the ones who have bodies of men and the hearts of shayateen. We are demanding justice from al-adl, the most just. We're demanding help, not from y'all. We don't seek your help no more. We're not seeking your brotherhood no more. Those days are long, long, long gone. We're seeking help from Allah, An-Nasr, the absolute helper. We don't ask you for squat. You have taken a clear side with the enemies of Allah and our enemies under the guise of dawah. You have given the green light for blatant anti-blackness and this invented war against wokeness, this culture war. In the culture war which the enemy created and invented in order to keep the people divided. And here come Kareem Abu Zaid and Uthman bin Farouk to sign off on all of that, confusing the masses. We can't be with the liberals. We have to be with the conservatives. What is that? This is Islam now? This is Islam? We can't side with the liberal Muslims. We have to side with the conservatives and the conservative kuffar too. Red pill, alt-right, everything, all that. This is what y'all doing to the deen now. The willing accomplices in upholding the order of white supremacy while making Islam part and parcel with this disgusting, wicked system. And you think that your interests and our interests are in line? There is no planet. There is no planet. Let me speak my Blackanese now. There is no planet where the oppressor and the oppressed are asking Allah Azza wa Jal for the same thing. The only reason why you invite these types to your platforms is not because of Islam or Dawah or the fight against liberals and the LGBTQs. The only common thread between you and your guests is your anti-blackness. That's it. That is it. Islam has inherently always been against LGBTQs or whatever. The LGBT is a modern concept anyways. Always been against that. Homosexuality, whatever you want to call it. Always. By default, Why you need to align yourself with some kafir to tell you that homosexuality is wrong? You need to do that? Where in the history of Islam has been done before? Y'all do it though. Y'all do it. And there's no way on earth that you invite a person like Jesse Lee Peterson on your channel and you don't refute him except that you yourself are a racist. That is not possible. And you are able to shield yourselves behind your non-Muslim guests for a viral tweet. Can you imagine? This is what I wanted to get into, these viral tweets. Or some other nonsense incentivizing the most aggressive anti-black sentiments and alt-right spaces. And for what reason? To grow your platforms. Just to grow your platforms. And you use these strategies and you call it dawah. And you don't press them at all. You don't press them at all on their anti-blackness. You don't press them. You don't correct them. As a matter of fact, you side with them. Who remembers Muhammad Hijab and, well, you know, that's all reparations and that's more of a leftist criticism. And I don't believe in that, nor do I consign to that. Who remembers that? These folks. We're going to run out of time, so I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this, inshallah. Right, but I want to invite people on. So let me just get the link and put it in the chat here. And believe me, we haven't even touched the good stuff yet. We are just getting started, but we're gonna have to do a second part, inshallah, because it's just getting late. And but these are these people. These people can't even say Omar Suleiman's name out of fear of trying to promote a liberal Muslim, but have no issues whatsoever of promoting alt-right kafirs on their shows. Can you imagine that? We have a lot in common with Jesse Lee Peterson. You don't press them, you don't correct them, but you wholeheartedly agree with them and you take their positions. And anybody who doesn't believe me, all you have to do is read the comment section in the features. That's all you got to do. All of these alt-right Muslims who word for word parrot what they got out of alt-right forums label us, of all people, as being liberal. Us. As being woke. Us. Can you imagine? That's what they be doing. And they come up with the most imaginative ad hominems and epithets. Everything we're showing, did we add or subtract anything to what these folks are saying or doing, whatnot? Do we add or subtract to it? These are the next generation, the new generation of weirdos who are running the dawah today, man. These weirdos. You know? Yes, we are upon the Dawah to Salafiyah, but we're going to invite this alt-right cottagey Daniel Hakikachu because, he has some benefit against the liberals and stuff. That's what the Dawah's come to. Pathetic. Pathetic, man. We need people like this because we can't battle no LGBTs by ourselves. How's we supposed to do that? Sick, man. Can you imagine? This was a Dawah come to. Big shakes. Big shakes. Never in my life would I imagine Eddie from the Dean Show as a guest speaker at some Salafi conference somewhere. Never. But that can happen in 2023. In 2013, nope. You couldn't even ask, because if the second that you did that, you would lose all credibility from that point. And that's just Eddie. At least we can say Eddie. You can say like, kind of Salafi, I guess. But Daniel Hakikachu? Man. What's your excuse for Daniel now? Huh? How did that turn out? And on top of that, you telling the people we're not listening to anybody with regards to their slander against Daniel Hakikachu. This is what the Dawah's come to now. We're going to have to follow this up, inshallah, because it's getting late. I've been on here for almost an hour and a half. So remember, support the features on Patreon, on Simple Cash App, on PayPal. And inshallah, we'll catch you next time. Inshallah. Subhanaka wa bihamdik. Wa shalla ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.